Outdoors.
He's going to take us on a safari.
I love it.
As you can see here behind me, we've got a couple of equine animals.
Crikey.
Crikey. They're almost wild, but they actually live domesticated on 4.5 acres.
Ah,
None of our
American
Australian
version of
fans hate me
wild.
for that. I did my best. I grew up on Steve Irwin, and that was my best. So,
dude, Matt's probably going to kill me for saying this, but he had a consult with a guy from Australia the other day, and apparently the guy answers like, "Well, good day, mate," and Matt just says it right back to him, and he goes like in the accent and everything, and he's like, "Oh, what is wrong with me? Like, why did I do that?" He called me and told me that. I about pissed my pants. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's
Dude,
like,
yeah.
I like this.
I don't know. Maybe they feel the same way about us. But
Oh,
like, I
it's
just think
funny.
the Australian accent is like so cool. Like, it's like when they say stuff, it's like, man, your words are better than our words. But yeah, I had that problem at OPA too.
I don't think
I had that problem at OPA because Bluey plays 24/7 at our house, and so like the kids kind of pick up on the Australian accent a little bit, and then we jab each other back and forth in an accent, not making fun, just having fun. And with the like 4 or 5 Australian guys at OPA, I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna mess up and say something to them that they're gonna be like, what is wrong with you?
Go sit in the corner, Paul.
Yeah, no more. Well, that's funny.
No more. No, that's fun. That is funny. What's new in the boys' world, Logan? What you been up to? You're finally home from setting up rodeos every day.
Yeah,
Bet you won't do that again for a while.
Yeah, not for a year anyway. We're we're done with our little run. We've just been catching up on work and making content, and I'm getting ready to leave again, but really excited to get to go work with Odessa College next week. Go down there and do a training camp for them for a couple days, which you got to go do last year. So I'm really excited to get to tag in and go check that out and go hang out with them for a couple days, and then head over to Wichita Falls for high-low and see some clients and work a couple perfs there. So anyway, that's next week for me, which will probably be a couple weeks behind us when this actually airs, but it's been good to be home, and we really don't have just a whole lot outside of that trip next week. For the next little bit, we're going to be working in Albuquerque, Pro Rodeo in Albuquerque, and the next thing you know, we're all going to be flying to Montana to go see Doug get hitched. So
that is
going to be good. It's
down,
right around the corner.
Right around the corner. 50 days, like 2 days ago.
Remind me.
So that's.
I was listening to some of the podcasts that are supposed to release here, like the next one that's going to release, and realized that since our release schedule is kind of off from our recording schedule right now, that Logan's 1 week run for setting up rodeos is going to be like a 2-month thing for our listeners, and so it might be more traumatic for them than it was for Logan.
That's funny. He's still setting up rodeos.
Oh my god!
Never ending. You see, he doesn't even work for these guys anymore. I'm pretty sure he just sets up rodeos full time.
Yeah, he just sets up rodeos full time. Oh no, that's pretty funny. It felt like an eternity when we were in it. Let me tell you, it was.
Dude, I couldn't imagine. I felt like an eternity just watching, watching your stories and texting and calling with you throughout the days. I was like, dude, are you done yet?
Yeah.
He said, you're telling me.
I was definitely ready to be done, but it was so good. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad that I was able to have Bryce here, Otto, one of our clients, and be able to get on. He got on at all the rodeos and made a bunch of progress, and man, it was just it was good to be able to get to spend some time with him. And that's the if there is a downside to what we do when it's remote, it would be that we don't get a ton of in-person time with some of our clients, the majority of them really. And so it was so cool to just get to do life with one of my clients. And it's interestingly enough, he signed up before OPA in May. He signed up 2 months ahead of time, and he works at HEB when he's in school, typically. And he's like, listen, I've only got enough money. I'm coming to OPA, but he's like, I've only got enough money for 2 months of training. I was like, cool, no problem. Like, let's train for 2 months and we'll get you ready for OPA, and we'll hang out at OPA and we'll call it good. And he's like, okay. Well, then we got close to OPA and he's like, man, I just lined up an internship. I'm loving the training. I want to keep going. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he came to OPA, was able to keep going, has trained with me through the summer. And then this opportunity came up and I thought, man, this would be perfect for Bryce. And he was able to come up there. And so it's just really cool our relationship is, which is ideally what we want with all our clients, is to build those relationships, communication, getting to know them, and getting to spend time. So it was really fun. It was like one of those things that, you look at and you're like, oh my gosh, that was miserable. But it was actually, you like look back and you kind of have fond memories, so
yeah,
it was good. It was not enjoyable in the moment, but it was good.
I forget what the saying is. Something about going through hell or going through shit all the time together just makes you fonder of each other, I think. Builds that camaraderie.
Definitely bonds you together
between you.
For sure.
Yeah. Trauma bond. Nothing like it.
Trauma bond. For sure.
But speaking of seeing clients, I got to go head up to Missoula last night and see the first night of the first perf of the rodeo. They sold that thing out, dude. It was packed. The crowd was loud, awesome. Fired up. Yeah, it's fun to watch. I'd never been to that rodeo, so I guess hometown rodeo now for us. So it was good to get up there, and I got to see a bunch of our clients. And I've had this usually happens to me, but throughout the summer, I'll have guys fall off and it's just not working for them, right? So I will see them throughout the summer, and you get one or two reactions. You have the one that's very, very awkward that will like see you and like, oh, nope, I'm going the other way. I'm not going to talk to Doug today. Or they'll see me and they're like, I am going to be hitting you up in about 3 weeks because I feel like shit. And I know that I was feeling way better. So I got to see a bunch of guys that had that response last night. And not that I don't understand the first response, but also I'm not mad ever if someone, like ghosts me or like doesn't want to train anymore. You're not hurting my feelings. That's all on you. So I think it's comical to me when I get that reaction from people where they're like, oh, not going to go over there. Like, dude, I don't care. Come say hi. Don't be weird.
It just makes the whole thing
like, what's your game plan? Are you going to avoid me for the rest of your life?
Yeah, forever. You're going to see me.
How do you, that's what I don't get about it. When clients just like stop responding, stop everything. Next thing you know, like they're just done training just immediately and you never hear from them again. Like do you know how small the rodeo community is? Like, I'm going to see you at some point in time. You're going to have to see me. Like, I don't understand how. I guess your game plan is just to hide in your van until it's time to ride and then go right back to your van. Yeah. Whatever.
What were you saying, Paul?
I was going to say, like, you could have just said, like, hey, this isn't working out right now. Like, I need to take a break from this. Like, I think people are afraid of hurting our feelings. And, like, it doesn't hurt our feelings.
Dude, I feel like they feel like they're breaking up with us. That's what they think.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It feels like a breakup, and they don't like that, and they don't want to make us feel like bad or whatever.
They're like,
and I've had some clients that are like straightforward, like, hey, you know what? I got some like big financial things coming up. Like, this really isn't just going to work out for me right now, and I feel so bad, and like I don't want to. I'm like, don't feel bad. Like, I get it. Like, this is why we do this, is so that we can help you when we can. Like, you're not hurting my feelings by not being able to accept my help anymore, like that. It's a whole thing. But
the best part about that is they do think it's us, like we're going to take it hard. And don't get me wrong, like, it kind of sucks sometimes, but at the same time, it's your own personal decision. So go on with yourself and go get it done. The funny thing about that is 90% of the time, I know you're going to be back because you're going to get into that next season and the next couple of rodeos, and you're going to start feeling not good. And that's just how it goes. It's a little bit of a vicious cycle in the beginning, and I've seen it with multiple athletes. I've been through this with athletes that I've been training now for over 3 or 4 years, but it's not consecutive. They've taken these long breaks and realized, oh man, I keep going back to my old same thing and it's not working. What was working? Oh, when I was working out with Dougie and I was staying on my routine and taking care of myself, that's what was working. And sometimes it takes years to buy in. I have a girl I've been training now, year 3. She's a trick rider. Dude, the first year and a half, she was a fucking pain in the ass to work with. All honesty, like was terrible to work with because she wouldn't listen. She could not get in those new habits and that new routine.
Mm-hmm.
She never quit, but she didn't work out for a good amount of time. Was still a member, and we have that as well. But she came back, and when she did, we had a really serious conversation, and I was very real with her and said, hey, like if you have real goals and you really want to do this, you have to commit here. And my biggest thing is I don't want uncommitted people. I don't want uncommitted athletes or clients. That makes my job feel less worthy. And when I put all my time and effort into making these programs for people just like you guys do, that's the shitty part. That's what hurts the most is like them not doing it when you put all that effort and work into it and you're caring about, you took their whole schedule, their lifestyle, their rodeo schedule, like all of these things. It's a lot to balance, and you start balancing that among not just like 5 or 6 guys, but a good handful of guys. We're putting a lot of time and effort into these, and I don't care when people quit. I care when people don't do their work, because that's what we're here for. That's when you see the differences. That's how you see change, and that's when you see success.
Yep.
Is when you put in that work and keep grinding. So,
absolutely.
I think that's a future. That's a good notice for anyone that's thinking about getting any kind of personal trainer, even if it isn't us. Like, make sure you're committed. Make sure you're ready to work. Trust the process and do it. I've been harping on that a lot lately, just because that time of season, guys, again, are tired, sore, don't want to be doing shit, but you've got to trust the process. You've got to be dedicated and do the shit you need to do when you don't want to do it and when it's not convenient. And that's when you're going to see the biggest amount of growth. So, yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. But I got to see all of our guys last night. Sam Peterson got to spur pickup sticks for 87 points, which was so cool. I got to help him pull his rig in, and it was so ranked, dude. And Rocker got on Irish Eyes and was 87. Jess got on a run bucker and was 87. It's crazy. It was good. 43 points. Like, huh? What? No, it was good. Good to see the boys. Tim got on to Sozo. That horse dude has his number. Those last 2 jumps, he starts having too much fun and ripping them, and she yanks that rigging from him. Last 2 jumps, he was about to get knocked out, and I was like, "Don't you do it! You better keep going, Timmy. Don't stop.
Don't do it."
Yeah. He was like 85 or something like that. He finished. Awesome. He made a good ride, and man, there was a kid from California. He had a Veeder patch on him. Like, I've seen him on Facebook and Instagram before. He made an outstanding bareback ride, dude. Like, in my eyes, 85, 86, 82 points, and just got the old first timer kind of deal. First year, like, welcome to the show, kid. Better luck next year. Yeah. But he kind of threw his hands up when they called it out, like, like, what the fuck? And I wanted to tell him so badly, buddy. Like, don't let him see that. Don't let him win like that. Do not let him get to you. Any athlete out there right now, like, something happens in the arena, the judging isn't up to your standards, you don't think that, you think you got screwed, don't let him see it. Stuff it deep down inside. If you need to have a conversation with a judge, do it probably after the rodeo, which is not ideal, but it's the most quote-unquote professional way to do it. So just a future, like, note for young athletes, guys just getting into professional rodeo. There's going to be lots of calls that you don't like, I'm sure. It just happens in the sport. Happens when humans are judging humans. I mean, it just is what it is. But you've got to figure out a way to not let them see that it's eating you alive. Because I have a very strong theory that once they see that and expose that, you're done. They will do anything they can.
Absolutely. You can't help but think that when you're going down the road as a contestant, you got your buddies in the rig that you travel with, but then if you're on the phone, who are you talking to? Other contestants. You're talking to other bareback riders. What'd you get done tonight? How'd it go for you? You can't help but think that those judges are doing the same thing. When they leave the rodeo, like, they talk to other judges, and they're like, dude, I had this one kid tonight. Hey, let me tell you, when you see this kid, watch out, because this experience or that. They talk to each other. It's not an isolated event. It transfers over. And at the end of the day, judges are human. And so all humans are going to carry bias of some kind, whether it's transparent or not, conscious or not. And, anytime you have that type of action, and it's definitely going to have a ripple effect later on, for sure.
Yeah,
Speaking
definitely
of
will.
judges
And it's
rules,
man, when you're young, I remember getting so pissed off when I was young. Go ahead. Sorry, Paul. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, speaking of judges and rules, I didn't want to like end this conversation, but the deal with Sage, and I'm sure by the time that our listeners are listening to this, they'll probably kind of already know what's going on, but he's gonna try and mount out 15 head with a broken collarbone, right?
Yeah, it's so he broke his collarbone 2 weeks ago. They plated it. He had surgery. The rule in the rule book for the PRCA is you have to attend X amount of rodeos in order for your money to count to qualify for the national finals rodeo. I get it. I kind of get it, the rule. Maybe even like in the 80s, I think that was a good rule. But in today's world, I think it's terrible for the sport when you have to force somebody to, okay, let's just like revamp what he's doing here. He's mounting him out, and what that counts as is he has to have contact with the bull when the bull's front shoulders cross the plane of the buck and shoot. And so he has a hold of his rope, and he has his foot on the bull. And as that bull's coming out, his foot is sliding back, but he's still in contact with it. And he has an extra long rope that he's made. So when that bull's out there, he's still got a hold of this rope, and he'll just let it jerk it out of his hand. So it's like a 10-foot rope that he has, or 12-foot rope. It's this long thing, and it has to have a bell on it. So he's got a bell on it. Bro, it's like a bungee cord. Like he has this thing, and he hangs it up on the fence, and he's like my rope. And I'm like, what is that? So he explains this all to me. And that's the rule. Like, you have to do this. You have to do these rodeos. So he's going for 14 more rodeos to go put a foot on a bull so he can make it to the NFR. My thing here is, yes, there's going to be backlash if you didn't make this guy go to the amount of rodeos because it's the quote-unquote rule. But the people that are giving that backlash are going to be the ones that are not talented enough to make that top 15. There's someone there's probably that's in that 16 and 17 spot saying, well, Sage didn't go to these many rodeos. He doesn't deserve to go. I should have that spot for sure. And that's just part of the game, right? Like that's how it goes. There are going to be people that are going to have their own best interest in mind, and that's okay. But for the sport, I think that was not a great move. Go ahead, Logan.
Well,
what you got?
That's why we have hardships. That's why there's hardships. There are hardships that are available, and I don't understand. I guess I don't know enough of the workings in the office and what qualifies as earning a hardship or not. Because I know that all I've seen, I have not talked to Sage. All I've seen is the post that he made, and he said it did not look like a hardship was promising at this time. I don't understand if that's not a situation for a hardship. What is? How do you qualify for a hardship? I feel like that's the purpose of a hardship. Is I got injured. I was making the NFR, would make the NFR, but there was an injury that took place that kept me from getting to the rest of the rodeos.
Mm-hmm.
So I apply for a hardship. It's granted. I still go to the NFR, and I don't have to put myself in a dangerous position, regardless of whether you're actually riding the bull or not with a broken collarbone. You're still putting yourself in a compromising position by, putting on one and letting the rope,
think
like
it's
you're still in
sketchier.
a crazy compromise. Yeah,
He's standing
it's way
halfway
sketchier.
over the chute with his leg over the bull. Like the bull's flanked. If he wants to come back there and suck it back into the buck and shoot, like he could very well rip him down in there with him, and it would be not ideal, right?
Get kicked on the way out.
Oh, yeah. Dude, yeah. Like there's a lot of things that can happen. It's not ideal. It's just not great for the sport, I don't think, because it sets this precedent that the association does not care about the athlete no matter what they've accomplished. And I think that if a guy accomplishes the amount of money to be won with a sport like this, we've talked about this a million times, that's what needs to happen is the volume needs to come down to make guys last longer and to really take this thing to the next level, heighten the events, make the events not as many for these elite levels. But they don't give a shit about the guys, man. And it sucks. It's hard to watch when you have a guy of that caliber. How many NFRs has that guy won? How many world titles has he won? 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Paul?
something like that. Paul
Yeah,
would know.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like this could.
and you're telling me he can't go to the finals because, yeah. I'll be surprised if he comes back, dude. He hasn't said anything like that, but I could just tell that this left a really bad taste in his mouth. And I don't mean come back to board riding. I just mean the PRCA in general. I don't think that he'll be digging on that. But anyways, think about this as a committee or like a spectator, right? You're sitting there, the 7-time bull riding world champions getting announced to ride, and they're going to be like, oh, wait, hold up. He's injured, but he has to be here. He's just going to put a foot on the bull, and we're going to turn it out. Well, first of all, the crowd has no idea what the fuck that means. So they're like, why isn't this guy getting on? The committee is having a 7-time world champ not get on, just show up. Like, that doesn't do much for anybody or the performance. And it just is confusing to the whole production, I think. So I had no idea why hardship wasn't given. I don't know. I would say that if you're a PRCA athlete and you have anything like this come up, get a lawyer. I don't care what it is. Get a lawyer, because that changes everything. They have a lot less things they can do, and they won't be able to run over you. But it's just come to that point. Someone's got to give. Someone's got to give. But guys need to be watching out for themselves, taking care of their own business, and watching out for their business. You guys are a business, a LLC, as rodeo athletes. Start thinking like it. Okay. Any business that deals with negotiations, each side has a lawyer present. That's how it works. And this is, man, it's a corporation. PRC is huge. Huge entity. And when you got a huge entity mixing and mingling with individuals in society, it makes it easy for them to train roll you or steamroll you. So,
just what other option do you have?
You don't
as a
have
professional rodeo athlete, where are you going to go?
Nowhere.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. It's a monopoly.
They don't have to. They can do whatever they want to, because if you want to make a living for your family riding bucking horses or roping calves, that's the deal. That's where you go. And so there's no options. And anytime there's no options, competition makes everything better. Every time that there's a monopoly, your quality of product can be whatever you decide, because people are still going to use you because you're the only option. But that's what we say with us all the time, is that since Champion Living Fitness has started, now there's all these other deals popping up. I mean, we've got good companies doing good work for rodeo athletes all over the place. It's great for us, because it's competition, which means that we have to stay educated. We have to continue to push the bubble. We have to grow and evolve so that our product doesn't suffer. And what it's really good for is the athlete. Same thing with a rodeo association. It would grow the athlete to give them options. But right now, the WCRA does a great job, but they're built off of they're built off of other associations. How do you qualify for a WCRA event? By nominating other rodeos, so there's just not a whole lot of other options if you're a professional rodeo contestant and outside of bull riding, and you want to make a living for your family. It's the only option.
Yeah. And we're not shitting on the PRCA or rodeo. Like, our goal, as always, is we want rodeo to be bigger and better than ever. And that has been our goal since day one with everything that we do, from fitness to our schools to this podcast. We just want to add value and make the Western culture and rodeo a part of America again, and really the heart of it, and things got to change for that to happen. And it's got to start with the head of the association, and the way that we're doing it. This, even in the last 2 years, man, it's gotten much further away from what it should be when it comes to taking care of our athletes and the members of the association. So hopefully that'll all be changing eventually, but I'm sure I'll get some backlash about this from them. But it was good to see the boys nonetheless. Got to go have dinner with all the bareback riders, Jess and Ty, and it was cool to see Ty and Jess rodeoing together. I love seeing brothers get in the truck, and Tim was there, and Bennett came with me. Oren was there. Paige. It was fun, man. It was just a good group of people, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it was cool. Tim prayed over the meal, and he said something to me that just resonated and made me feel really grateful. And he was just talking about the family, all of us being together, and it's no matter how far we go, we're always still family, and we can get together and have these times. And it's that's my favorite thing about rodeo, man, is the brotherhood and the camaraderie, and you got my fiance's there, Richie's wife is there. Richie's not there, but we're still there as you know what I mean? Yeah. It's still family no matter what.
Yep.
So I love it, dude. I just love what we do and love who we surround ourselves with. And rodeo's freaking awesome. Super grateful.
It is.
Super grateful. Sure. What do you guys got planned for the weekend? Are you just finally chilling out?
Yeah, I am. We don't have a whole lot going on. We're going to be, we got birthday parties for some friends and gymnastics and church and just the usual. I'm going to be working quite a good bit and just trying to kind of get ahead on some programming and stuff like that. But really, we're just going to kind of be hanging out. Sis is I've talked about it a little bit, but Sis is in gymnastics now, and she's made this like gymnastics team. And so the practices have ramped up, and it's been really interesting to watch. To go and in their practices, there's kids of like all age levels and experience levels, and I've like started trying to do a little bit of research about, mind you, she's 6. Okay, we're like we're at the very introductory level, but I know that like the competitive gymnastics is huge, and there's a lot of like common injuries that come, and so it's been really interesting to like I've just kind of been dipping my toes in the pool a little bit about potentially, she loves it at this stage, about potentially what might be coming down the pipe in the future if this is something that she sticks with, and man, it is fascinating because I've never really been able to take the information, the knowledge that I have about fitness and strength and conditioning. It's always been applied to rodeo. I've always thought about it in the lens of rodeo. So then, taking and transitioning maybe a little bit and thinking about it in the lens of gymnastics and what that looks like. And it's crazy because in rodeo, there is, outside of, what Wolf and Sons are starting to do, there's not a whole lot of like research studies and stuff. Competitive gymnastics, you can read for days, like there's all kinds of, so it's kind of cool to see, like there's actually stuff that applies already. And so it's been really interesting. Their meets don't start until maybe in October, I think. So she's got a little bit of time to practice, but it's definitely not our scene. It's definitely a different environment than we're used to. And so we're a little out of our comfort zone, but Sis is digging it and loving it. So it'll be interesting to see what hauling to some of these meets and stuff is like. I always thought that junior rodeo was really expensive when other parents wanted to be like, oh, sports are so expensive. I'd be like, give me a break. You don't know nothing about expensive. Let me tell you. I don't know about T-ball and stuff, but I'm going to tell you, gymnastics, it will give junior rodeo a run for its money as far as finances go. So anyway, but that's what we've got. She's got a practice tonight, and then there's a special something or other practice tomorrow too. So she's got 2 practices, and she had one on Wednesday, and so. Anyway, it's really fun to watch them grow too. Watch them grow at what they're doing and get better, and things that they're scared of at one point in time, and now they're not scared of it. Anyway, it's been a pretty cool journey to watch.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, we just want to keep this one short today, y'all. Wanted to just kind of shoot the shit, talk about what's going on in rodeo, what we've been up to. Got to thank our sponsors, man. Beastmaster Rodeo, been with us since day one, the elite rodeo gear company in the world. If you're the best of the best in the world, or just getting started in rodeo, whether you're a rough stock rider, a timed event, or even pickup man, they've got gear for you. Check them out. Use our discount code CHAMPIONLIVING, all one word, uppercase, going to save you 10% on all their products. And HOOEY Brands. HOOEY Brands is, man, what I wear, what we wear all day long. Hats, shirts, man, their jeans are dope. I can do full air squats in their jeans. We should do that. We should do a test among jeans, and that's how we know the quality. If you can get to full depth, then we're winning. We're talking about some athletic performance in them jeans. I'm down. We should definitely do that. That would be awesome.
Test like all the yeah, that would be so cool. Like get a pair from a bunch of different companies and do some sort of like evaluation in each one of them just to see how they hold up. That's a good idea right there.
I'm in. I know HOOEY Brands are going to win. So check them out, y'all. Use our discount code CHAMPIONLIVING, one word, going to save you 10% at HOOEY. Until next time, we'll catch you guys later.